lighting a cigar. Everyone thinks the whole world is about to go up in flames. Don't you just hate it?
Good people of our city, see us! It's guardians! Watching! Listening! Always well-disposed.
Towards the well-disposed citizen.
Who, after all, pays our wages. Our equipment all gleaming, we circle your house. At once alert, yet never thinking the worst. Sometimes we stop. Take the weight off our feet.
But never in order to sleep.
Tirelessly looking, listening for that which is concealed to be revealed before it's too late to put out the first few flickers threatening fire. Many things burn, but not every fire is determined by fate. Sometimes the fire can be prevented. Other things call fate to keep us from asking how it happens. Monstrous things. Even the total destruction of the city. Our mischief. Human, all too human mischief that wipes out our fellow mortal citizens. Reason can save us from evil. That's right. It is unworthy of God. Unworthy of people. To call a stupidity fate simply because it has happened. If we start thinking like that, then we won't deserve our place on this earth. This generous earth, so fruitful and kind. Not the air that we breathe, nor our place in the sun. If we bestow the name of fate upon our own stupidity, then the flames may rise to the point where nobody knows how to put out the fire. Our watch has begun.
Firebombers. Again. They should hang the lot of them. I've said it before, and I will say it again. Hang the lot of them. And it's the same story every time. Someone at the door trying to sell you something ends up being invited in, wangles his way into staying overnight, gets offered a corner of the attic. Incredible. They should hang the lot of them.
Mr. Biederman,
What is it?
he's still there.
Who's still there?
The person waiting in the hall, he wants to speak to you.
Say I'm not home.
I told him that, Mr. Biederman. I told him that about an hour ago. He says he knows you. I can't throw him out on the street, sir. I just can't.
Well, why not?
He's too big.
Tell him to come by my office tomorrow.
I've told him that at least 3 times, Mr. Biederman, but he's not interested in coming to your office.
Well, why not?
He says he doesn't want any of your hair rejuvenator.
Then what does he want?
A little humanity?
Tell him to clear off right now, or I'll throw him out myself. Please, a little humanity. He can wait in the hall. I'll be there in a minute. I'm not insensitive, Anna. You know that. But I'm not going to let strangers into my house. If I've told you once, I've told you 100 times. Even if we had 3 spare beds, it still wouldn't be on. I'm sorry, it's just not on. You know what that leads to these days.
Good evening! Your cigar, Mr. Biederman.
Now, wait a minute.
Good evening.
What's going on? I told my maid very clearly that you were to wait in the hall. I mean, how? You didn't even knock.
My name is Schmitz.
Didn't even knock.
Joseph Schmitz. Good evening.
What does he want?
No cause for alarm, Mr. Biederman. I'm not trying to sell you anything.
Who are you then?
Wrestler. By profession.
Wrestler?
Heavyweight.
I see.
Well, I used to be a wrestler.
And now?
Unemployed. No cause for alarm, Mr. Biederman. I'm not looking for work, not wrestling work anyway. Only came here to get out of the rain. It's warmer in here. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Do you smoke?
You don't know what it's like for me, Mr. Biederman. Being this big, everyone's afraid of me. Thank you.
I'll come straight to the point. What do you want?
My name is Schmitz.
So you said, lovely to meet you, but
I'm homeless. I'm homeless.
would you like some bread?
If that's all you have.
Or perhaps a glass of wine?
Ah, the bread and the wine, but not if I'm disturbing you. Not if I'm disturbing you.
Anna?
That girl said you were going to throw me out, but no, I thought Mr. Biederman wouldn't do a thing like that.
Anna, bring another glass, please.
Yes, Mr. Biederman.
Oh yes, and some bread.
And if it's no trouble to the young lady, some butter. Oh, and perhaps some cheese? Oh, maybe a little bit of cold meat, something along those lines, but don't put yourself out. Oh, perhaps a few tomatoes, maybe a gherkin or two as well. Oh, and perhaps some mustard as well, just whatever you happen to have.
I'll see what I can do.
But don't put yourself out!
You told her you knew me.
Indeed I do, Mr. Biederman. Indeed I do.
Where from?
Only from your good side. Yes, I have seen your good side.
Oh?
Last night at the cafe, at your usual table, you wouldn't have seen me, I was in the corner. I must say, we all loved it every time you banged your fist.
Well, what was I saying?
The right thing. We should hang the lot of them, string them up, the sooner the better. The arsonists, I mean.
Please.
Men like you, Mr. Biederman, that's exactly what we need.
Yes, that's true, of course, but...
No buts, Mr. Biederman, no buts. They don't make them like you anymore. You still have a positive attitude. It's false.
True.
You still have civic courage.
Yes.
You see, it's false.
Yes. I'm sorry, what follows?
Well, you still have a conscience, a genuine conscience, as everyone in that cafe could tell.
Well, yes, naturally.
But it's not natural, Mr. Biederman. Not these days. Take the circus, where I used to work as a wrestler, the one that got burnt down. My boss there, if I ever said anything about conscience, Joe, he used to say, that's my nickname, Joe, he used to say, you must be joking! You must be joking, he used to say. What do I need a conscience for? For circus animals, I need a whip, not a conscience. That's the sort of man he was. A conscience. Don't make me laugh. If anyone has a conscience, it's normally a bad conscience. That's what he'd say. May he rest in peace.
He's dead?
Burnt to death along with everything he ever owned.
I really don't know why that girl's taking so long.
I'm not in a hurry. And you don't have a spare bed, as the maid explained.
Why are you laughing?
No spare bed, unfortunately. As they all say, the minute the homeless man comes to the door, not that I'm asking for a bed.
No?
I'm used to sleeping on the floor, Mr. Biederman! My father was a miner, you see, I'm used to it. No buts, Mr. Biederman, no buts. You're not one of those men to talk big to hide how scared they are. No spare bed, unfortunately, as they all say. But you, Mr. Biederman, I take your word for it. I believe you. Where will it all end up, eh? We stop believing one another. Everybody thinking the other block is an arsonist. Nothing but mutual suspicion in the world. What else do I say? Last night the whole cafe could tell that you used to believe in the goodness of people, not to mention the goodness within yourself. Am I right? You're the first person in this town that doesn't treat me as if I'm no better than an arsonist.
Please, have an ashtray.
Am I right? These days most people don't believe in God. They believe in the fire brigade.
What do you mean by that?
The truth.
There's no cold meat.
Oh, that's fine, darling. There's enough there. You forgot the mustard!
I'm sorry.
Please, eat up.
You don't get a welcome like this just anywhere these days, you know. The things I've seen, people like me, no suit to wear, no place to live, hardly to the door, and it's Oh, do take a seat while behind their back they're calling the police. Well, as can I say? I asked for a place to stay, nothing more. Me, a decent, well-behaved wrestler who's wrestled for years, and all of a sudden this well-dressed bloke who's never wrestled a day in his life grabs me by the scruff of the neck and, oh, what's that for, I say, and all I do is turn around so I can look him in the face and, oh dear, he's acquired a dislocated shoulder. Cheers.
I'll tell you what it's like these days. You open a newspaper and there you are, another house burnt. And it's the same old story every time. A complete stranger comes to the door, asks for a bed for the night, and the next day the house is in flames. Well, what I mean is, to be perfectly frank, a certain degree of mistrust is understandable. Here, take a look.
I've seen it.
An entire district. Go on, read it.
Is this a Beaujolais?
Yes.
Could be a little warmer. According to experts, the fire appears to have been planned in exactly the same way as last time.
Incredible, isn't it?
That's why I don't read newspapers.
How do you mean?
It's always the same old stuff.
Yes, of course, I can see that, but that's no solution, is it? Just not reading the papers? And at the end of the day, you have to know what you're up against.
Why?
You just have to.
You won't stop it happening. It's God's judgment.
Do you think so?
Oh, thank you, darling.
Anything else?
Not today.
Why do you think it's God's judgment?
How should I know? According to experts, the fire appears to have been planned in exactly the same way as last time.
Mr. Biederman,
What is it?
Mr. Nashling would like to speak to you on the phone.
Neshling? Now, Neshling.
He says
It's not possible. Now.
he can't understand
What
why
does he need to understand?
apparently he has a sick wife and 3 children.
No, it is completely out of the question. Mr. Neshling, bloody hell. Either Mr. Neshling can leave me alone, or he can find himself a lawyer. Anyway, it's outside of office hours. Mr. Neshling, please. I'm not putting up with this behavior just because a man's lost his job. I mean, it's ridiculous. And there is Social Security, in case he hasn't noticed. Better benefits than ever before. Yes, he can talk to a lawyer. And I'll do the same. A share of the profits from his invention. What a load of rubbish. You know, he can go and stick his head in an oven for all I care. Or find himself a lawyer, whichever he prefers. Ha! If he can afford a lawyer. But if that's what he wants to do, then fine. He can go right ahead. Tell him I have a visitor. I'm so sorry about that.
You're in your own home, Mr. Biederman.
How's the food?
Who would have thought, eh? Who would have thought you'd still find something like this?
Mustard?
Humanity. All I'm saying is you're not grabbing me by the scruff of the neck and throwing me out into the street, out into the rain now, are you? You see, that's what we need, Mr. Biederman. A little humanity. God bless.
I don't want to seem insensitive, but
Mr. Biederman!
that's what Mrs. Neshling is saying, you see?
If you were insensitive, you wouldn't be offering me a bed for the night now, would you?
Yes, that's true.
Even if it is only a corner of the attic. The line's about right now. Police!
My wife! My wife! Come on. But on one condition. Not a sound out of you. My wife has a heart condition.
Where's my husband? You know we're not narrow-minded, Anne. You can have a boyfriend. I just don't want you bringing him into the house.
I don't have a boyfriend, Mrs. Biederman.
Then whose bicycle is that outside your front door? Nearly scared me to death.
The switch is here. And there's no sheepskin jacket somewhere if you're cold, I think. Keep it quiet, for God's sake, and take your shoes off. Mr. Schmitz?
Mr. Biederman?
You promised me you're really not an arsonist?
Gottlieb. That's my husband. Gottlieb has promised me he will check the attic on a nightly basis to make sure there are no arsonists up there. I can't tell you how grateful I am. I mean, otherwise,
For the last time, he is not an arsonist.
How do you know?
I asked him.
Oh!
And anyway, can we please talk about something else for a change? It's driving me mad when your arsonists on and on and on.
Stop shouting at me!
I'm not shouting at you, I'm shouting in general. I have to leave the house. Where is it going to get us if we start thinking everyone's an arsonist? You need to have a bit of trust in people, Babette. A bit of faith.
I'm not having it, Gottlieb. I'm just not having it. You're too good-natured. You do what your heart tells you. Meanwhile, I have to lie awake worrying all night. I am getting him breakfast, but then I am telling him to go.
Yeah, do that.
In a friendly sort of way. I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings.
Fine. I have to see my lawyer.
Why did you fire Metchling?
Because I didn't need him anymore.
But you were always so pleased with him.
See, that's exactly what he's trying to exploit. A share of the profits from his invention. He knows very well where our hair rejuvenator is. Follicle Plus is not an invention. It's a marketing opportunity. Follicle Plus. The men who use it might as well rub piss into their scalps.
Gottlieb!
Well, it's the truth. You're right. I'm too good-natured. Nestling, I'll wring his bloody neck.
Good morning, friends!
Mr. Schmitz.
Oh, please, call me Joe.
My wife will speak to you, Mr. Schmitz. I have to go, I'm afraid, but I wish you all the best.
All the best, Gottlieb, all the best! Your husband is called Gottlieb, isn't he?
How did you sleep?
Thank you. I was cold. But I took the liberty of borrowing a sheepskin jacket. Took me back to my youth. Yes, I'm used to the cold.
Your breakfast is ready.
Mrs. Biederman, I can't accept this.
You eat up now, Joe. You probably have a long journey in front of you.
Do I?
Would you like a soft-boiled egg?
Two, please.
Anna!
Ah, Mrs. Biederman, I really feel at home here. May I?
2 soft-boiled eggs.
Very good.
3.5 minutes.
Very good.
Anna? Good morning.
Morning.
The way that girl looks at me, my God! If it were up to her, I'd be out in the pouring rain.
Mr. Schmitz,
Yes?
if I may be perfectly frank,
Mrs. Biederman, you're trembling.
if I may be perfectly frank, Mr. Schmitz.
Is there a problem?
Mr. Schmitz, have some cheese.
Thank you.
Or some jam.
Thank you.
Or some honey.
Oh, it's just one thing after another with you, Mrs. Biederman. Just one thing after another.
To be perfectly frank, Mr. Schmitz.
Please, call me Joe.
To be perfectly frank.
You want to get rid of me?
No, I wouldn't put it that way at all.
How would you put it? I love Emmental. It's my favorite. So, you think I'm an arsonist?
No, don't get me wrong. What was it I said? The last thing I want to hurt your feelings is hurt your feelings. I assure you. Nobody said anything about arsonists. I have no complaints about your behavior, Mr. Schmitz.
I know. I have no table manners.
That's not what I meant.
A man who eats like pig.
Nonsense.
That's what they always told me at the orphanage. Schmitz, they used to say. Stop eating like pig.
For heaven's sake, that's not what I meant at all.
I'm leaving.
Mr. Schmitz,
I'm leaving.
one more cup? Half a cup? You can't just leave like this, Mr. Schmitz. I didn't mean to upset you. I never said you ate like a pig. Have I upset you?
It's not your fault I have no table manners. My father was a miner. Why should someone like me have table manners? Hunger and cold. I know how to handle hunger and cold, but with no education, Miss Biederman, no manners, no culture,
I understand.
I'm off.
But where will you go?
Out into the rain.
Oh, God!
I'm used to it.
Mr. Schmitz, please don't look at me like that. Your father was a miner. I quite understand. You must have had a terribly hard childhood.
Oh, no, not really. My mother didn't even die until I was 7.
Joe! Joe!
Anything else?
about appearances. We're just not like that.
It's true, you haven't sent me away. Absolutely not. I'm very sorry about the misunderstanding. Please forgive me.
Is the egg right for you?
A little drummy. Please forgive me. So, what were you about to say earlier? Something about being perfectly frank?
Yes. What was I about to say?
Now, Billy, she always said that individual acts of kindness don't happen anymore. There are no decent people, no human beings left. Kindness has become a function of the state, according to Billy. That's where the world's going down the pan. I can't wait to see the look on his face when he gets given a breakfast like this. Yes, Billy's going to be over the moon. Or maybe that's him now.
Billy? Who's Billy?
He's a man of culture, you wait and see. He used to be a waiter down at the Metropole, before it was burnt down, of course.
Burnt down?
Head waiter.
Who is it?
A gentleman.
What does he want?
He says he's from the insurance. Says he needs to do a safety check. Though he's dressed like a waiter.
Good old Billy.
Now there are two to arouse our suspicions. Bicycles. We wonder who they belong to. One bike from yesterday, one from today. Woe unto us! Again it is night. Again we keep watch.
The timidity dangers with no danger there.
They fear their own shadows. Brave when it's only a rumor. They stumble through life, filled with fear, till one day the rumor walks in through the door. How should we read it? Those two in the house. The timid are blind, more blind than the blind. Hoping to be evil is not really evil. They welcome the evil. Defenseless, exhausted by fear, they hope for the best until it is too late. Woe unto us!
What if he decides to call the police?
A little further.
What will we do?
Slowly. Stop. Why would he decide to call the police?
Why wouldn't he?
Because he's guilty too.
Damn. It's getting light. Let's get some sleep. Every citizen is guilty, actually. Above a certain income. There's nothing to worry about.
Open the door. Open the door.
Well, that doesn't exactly sound like an invitation to breakfast, does it?
He has never been like this before.
Open the door immediately. Mr. Schmitz.
Good morning, Mr. Bitterman. I hope that stupid rumbling noise didn't wake you.
Mr. Schmitz.
I promise it won't happen again.
Get out of my house. I said, get out of my house.
When?
This instant.
Why?
Otherwise, my wife will call the police. I can't stop her, and I won't stop her. You heard? This instant. I don't want any discussion.
I'm not saying a word.
Listen, if you think there's no limit to what I'll put up with just because you're a wrestler, well, my God, what a dreadful noise all night long. Get out! I am telling you to get out!
He's never been like this before.
My name's Eisenring.
Why are you...
William Eisenring. Call me Billy.
Why are there suddenly two of you? Without even asking!
You see?
What's going on?
I told you, didn't I? You just don't do that sort of thing, Joe. You have no manners. Without even asking. What sort of way is that to behave? Suddenly two of us, without even asking.
I'm really angry about this.
You see, he's really angry about this. No, I told him. I told you, didn't I?
What do you think you're doing? At the end of the day, I'm the homeowner. I'm asking you, what do you think you're doing?
Answer when the gentleman speaks to you.
Well, you see, Billy is my friend.
Go on.
We went to school together as children.
And?
So I thought...
You thought what?
Didn't think at all. Now, he didn't even ask you, is that right?
Never mentioned it.
Sure.
Never mentioned it.
And you're surprised when people throw you out on the street?
It's no laughing matter. I'm very serious about this. My wife has a heart condition.
See,
Look, she was awake half the night with that awful noise. I mean, what on earth are you doing? What in God's name were those oil drums for? No, look, over here, look. What is this?
It's an oil drum.
And where have the oil drums come from?
Do you know where they've come from, Billy?
oh, they're imported. It says on them.
Now listen,
Somewhere.
what do you think you're doing? The attic filled with oil drums piled high? Look, they're piled high.
Oh, yes, they are.
Well, why?
Joe got his figures wrong. 12 meters by 15, you said. And in fact, the whole attic can't be more than 100 square meters. I think you'll understand. I can't just leave my oil drums out on the street.
I don't understand a thing.
Look, here it is, Mr. Biederman.
I don't believe it.
Look, where they come from. Here.
I just don't believe it.
I'll call him.
Petrol?
What did you say it was about, officer? It's an official matter.
Is this true? Is it?
It's what true.
What it says on the label? I mean, how stupid do you think I am, honestly? Do you think I can't read? Well, petrol, all right. What is in these metal drums?
Petrol.
I am not in the mood for jokes. You know as well as I do that an attic isn't the place to store petrol. Here, smell it. Is it petrol or is it not petrol? Answer me!
It's petrol.
It's petrol.
It's
definitely petrol.
Are you mad? The attic filled with drums of petrol?
That's why we're not smoking!
Don't you know the papers are full of warnings about this sort of thing? I mean, what do you think you're doing? Oh, my wife will have a fit.
You see?
Will you stop saying that?
You can't do that to a housewife, Joe. Now, I know a thing or two about housewives.
Mr. Biederman? Mr. Biederman?
Look, that is my last word on the matter.
Which word was that?
I'm not having petrol in my attic. Understood? I'm not having it. Coming.
Oh, here you are, Mr. Biederman. Found you at last, sir. No need to come downstairs. I shan't take up much of your time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 It's concerning an accident
Oh my God.
occurring to an elderly gentleman. Name of Neschling, Johann, residing at number 11 Steed Street. His wife claims he used to work for you as an inventor. Last night, the said gentleman stuck his head in a gas oven. Were you acquainted with the deceased? Perhaps you would prefer to have this conversation in private, sir?
Yes,
After all, it's nothing to do with your employees.
quite. If anyone's looking for me, I'll be with the police, okay? I'll be right back.
Oh, wait, sir.
Let's go.
What have you got in those drums,
Me?
if I might ask?
Hair rejuvenator.
Follicle plus.
Good news for men.
Follicle plus.
At last, the answer to baldness.
Follicle plus.
Hair today, hair tomorrow. Follicle plus, follicle plus, follicle plus.
Is he dead?
Wow. What a nice man.
Didn't I tell you?
Nothing about breakfast, though.
He's never been like this before.
Have you got the detonator?
Never been like this before.
First rays of the sun.
One blink of God's eye!
The rooftops appear.
And it's daylight again!
Today
As it was yesterday! All hail the firefighters!
The town has survived.
All hail the firefighters!
The town has survived one more night.
All hail the firefighters!
To overcome danger, we need to be smart.
And think about what we observe.
By staying alert to see signs of disaster.
And act in good time.
If we want to, and what if we don't?
In order to know what dangers we face, we open our news
What's going on?
Woe unto us!
What can I do for you?
Woe unto us!
So you said?
Woe unto us!
Why?
We've seen something highly suspicious.
Something inflammable. You've seen it too.
What do we make of it?
Something inflammable.
Up in the attic!
Drums of petrol.
Up in the attic!
Well, what's it got to do with you, huh? Just let me through. I need to see my lawyer. Let me through. I'm innocent, all right? What is this, an interrogation? Just let me through, all right?
The chorus will not sit in judgment on citizens that are ready to act.
It wouldn't be right.
Eyeing events from the sidelines.
The chorus is quicker to grasp the imminent danger.
As choruses do, we draw near,
Politely posing our questions.
Powerless.
watchful,
Showing concern.
issuing warning till it's too late to put out the flames.
Till even the firefighters cannot put out the flames.
Look, I'm in a hurry.
Woe unto us!
I really don't know what you want.
Allowing those drums will petrol.
What
Peterman!
What did you think they were for?
What were they for?
Knowing how easy it is to send the whole world up in flames?
Peterman!
What were you thinking?
Thinking? Now you listen here, I'm a free citizen, all right? I can think what I want. Why all these questions? I have the right not to think anything at all, quite apart from what goes under my own roof. Well, let's face it, I own this house.
Let the holy of holies be holy.
Property!
Who cares where that takes us?
Who cares if it
The
leaves?
flames that can't be extinguished.
Flames that will sear us and scorch us.
Let the holy of holies be holy.
Well, why won't you let me through? You shouldn't always think the worst, you know? What does that get you? I just want a quiet life, that's all. And as far as those two are concerned, quite apart from the fact that I have other things on my mind at the moment, what are you doing here?
Am I interrupting?
Yes, I'm having a meeting with the chorus. Yes, with a ribbon. A wreath with a ribbon. Doesn't matter what it costs.
Sorry to interrupt.
All right, I'll come straight to the point. I've had enough. You and your arsonists, I don't even want to meet my friends anymore. It's all they ever talk about. In the end, I only have one life to live. If we assume that everyone's an arsonist, how are things ever going to get better? We need to have a bit of trust, a bit of goodwill. Not always seeing evil around the corner. I mean, not everyone's an arsonist, for God's sake. That's what I think. A little... I can't live in fear all the time. Do you think I slept last night? I'm not stupid, you know? Petrol is petrol. I grappled with some very difficult thoughts. I climbed onto my table so I could hear them. I even got on top of my wardrobe and put my ear against the ceiling. They were snoring. Snoring. I climbed onto that wardrobe at least 4 times. Snoring away they were, dead to the world. At one point, I got so angry, I went out onto the stairs in my pajamas, believe it or not. I was just about to wake those two and throw them out onto the street along with their drums of petrol. With my own 2 hands, even if it was the middle of the night.
With your own 2 hands.
Yes,
Just like that?
yes,
In the middle of the night.
I was just about to do it. I would have done it if my wife hadn't appeared. She was worried I'd catch a cold, but I was just about to do it. Oh yes.
What should we make of it this time?
Peterman just couldn't sleep.
Did he never once think?
That a citizen's goodness might be abused.
Doubt overcame him.
Why should that be?
It's hard for a citizen.
Brutal in business.
Is otherwise kind and considerate.
Always prepared to do good.
When it suits him,
Hoping that good will come from being good-natured,
he makes a deadly mistake.
What do you mean by that?
The curious odor of petrol.
I don't smell it.
Woe unto us!
I can't smell a thing.
He's already so used to the odor of evil.
Woe unto us!
Can you please stop all this woe unto us stuff? It's pure defeatism. Taxi! Taxi! Excuse me?
where to, citizen?
Poor unfortunate Peterman.
What's he got planned?
Fearful audacious he struck me, and pale,
Then not fearful decisive.
What for?
So used to the odor of evil.
Woe unto us! Woe unto you!
It's the thought of radical change.
Scares you more than the
if I report them to the police, I know I'll be making enemies of them. What good is that going to do us? One spark sets the whole house ablaze. What good is that going to do us? Whereas if I go up there and invite them to supper, assuming they accept my invitation,
Then,
then they'll be our friends.
Anna, just so you know, you can't have the night off. We're having guests. Set the table for 4.
Come in. Come in. Oh, morning, Mr. Biederman.
May I?
How did you sleep?
Badly, thank you.
Oh, me too. It's the weather. Wind from the south.
I don't mean to disturb you.
But please, Mr. Biederman, you're in your own home.
I don't want to impose. Where's our friend?
Who, Joe? Off working. The lazy sod didn't want to go without breakfast. I sent him off to get lighters.
Lighters?
Lighters? Just to be on the safe side.
Safe, yes, very good. No, what I meant to say was,
You want to throw us out again?
no, that's not it, no. See, in the middle of the night, I run out of sleeping pills, you see. In the middle of the night, I just couldn't stop thinking about how you don't have a toilet up here.
Oh, well, that's all right. We do it through the skylight.
Nah, whatever suits you. Yes, fine by me. No, I just couldn't stop worrying about it all night. Perhaps you'd like to wash up or take a shower? Please, feel free to use my bathroom. I told Anna to put towels in there for you. Why are you shaking your head?
Where did he put it?
What?
Have you seen a detonator anywhere?
A detonator?
No, don't worry about the bathroom, Mr. Biederman. Really, don't worry. There wasn't a bathroom in prison either.
Prison?
I just got out. Didn't Joe tell you?
No.
Didn't even mention it?
No.
Terrible! All that man ever talks about is himself. Now there are people like that, you know. But, in the end, what can you do with someone who's had such a tragic youth? Did you have a tragic youth, Mr. Biederman? Not that I did. I could have studied. My father wanted me to go into the law.
Mr. Reiserman, I couldn't sleep all night, to be absolutely honest. Is it really petrol in those drums?
Don't you trust us?
I'm only asking.
What kind of people do you think we are? To be absolutely honest?
Please, don't get me wrong. I don't want you to think I've got no sense of humor, but your jokes can be, well, you know, rather unusual.
Something we're working on.
What is?
Our jokes. You see, comedy is the third best tactic. Now, the second best tactic is sentimentality. You know, all the stuff Joe comes out with. Miner's family, childhood poverty, orphanage, all that bollocks. But, in my experience, the best, the most reliable tactic is still the naked truth. Because funnily enough, nobody believes it.
Take a seat. But if you're Mrs. Nushling, don't waste your time. Mr. Biederman's made it very clear he wants nothing to do with you. Take a seat, but don't get your hopes up.
Wonder why Joe's taking so long. Lighters aren't that hard to find. Well, let's hope he hasn't got his collar felt, right?
Had his collar felt?
Why is that funny?
Expressions like that, you know? I mean, it's like you're from another planet. I find it fascinating. You see, in my world, people don't often get their collars felt.
Because in your world, people don't often steal lighters, obviously. It's a class thing.
Oh, rubbish.
You're not trying to tell me that.
I don't believe in class. I'm a man of my time, in case you couldn't notice. In fact, what I really can't stand is the attitude of the socially disadvantaged themselves, because they go on about class more than anyone else does. These days, we're all human beings. Rich or poor, we're all the same, even the middle classes. You and I, we're both made of flesh and blood. I don't know whether you smoke.
Oh, no.
I'm not saying everyone should be the same. There will always be stupid people and clever people, thank heavens. But why can't we be friends? A little bit of trust, a little idealism, for God's sake, a little, I don't know. maybe then we'd all live a quiet life, rich and poor together. Don't you think?
If I may be frank,
I'm all for that.
you won't take offense?
The franker the better.
You're quite sure?
Absolutely certain.
Okay, so you really shouldn't smoke in here. It's not for me to lay down the rules, of course. At the end of the day, this is your home. But you understand.
Well, of course. Yes, I do.
There it is.
I'm sorry, but what is it you're doing all the time up here? If you don't mind my asking. And what's that?
Oh, that's the detonator. And this is the fuse wire. You know, Joe says the latest detonators are even better, but they've not been issued to the army yet, so we can't steal them. Buying them's out of the question. Military hardware, terribly expensive. Everything has to be top quality, you see.
Fuse wire. You did say fuse wire.
Detonating fuse wire. Now, would you be so kind? Just hold the end so I can measure it.
But joking apart,
It won't take a minute. Thank you, Mr. Biederman. Thank you very much.
I'm not someone you can make a fool of, you know? Definitely not. I must say, you rather take it for granted that people will see the funny side of things. I'm not surprised you get arrested from time to time. I mean, not everyone's sense of humor is as highly developed as mine.
Well, you have to find the right sort of people.
Well, if I said people were fundamentally decent, everyone I know would laugh in my face.
Ha!
Mind you, I donated a fair old whack to the local fire brigade. I'm not saying how much.
Well, don't worry. Come the big day, everybody's going to cop it. Sense of humor or no sense of humor. Oh, well, what's the matter, Mr. Biederman? You've gone all pale. It's the smell, isn't it? Petrol. If you're not used to it, it can be quite unsettling.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Biederman? Mr. Biederman?
Not the police again?
Mr. Biederman?
It's a police state, that's what it is.
Mr. Biederman?
I'm coming! Do you like goose?
Goose?
Goose. Yes, goose.
Me like goose?
With chestnut stuffing.
And red cabbage?
Yes. Exactly. What I'm trying to say is, me and my wife, well, mainly me, well, I thought, maybe you and Mr. Schmitz would join us, but I don't want to force you. But if you'd like to, you and Mr. Schmitz for supper?
This evening?
Is tomorrow better?
Oh, no, I think we'll be gone by tomorrow. No, this evening would be perfect. Thank you very much.
Shall we say 7 o'clock?
Mr. Biederman?
It's a deal?
It's a deal. It is a deal. You can come out now. Well, you heard. Joe and I have been invited downstairs for supper. You'll stay here, keep watch, make sure nobody comes up here and starts smoking. At least, not yet. You know, sometimes I wonder why you're with us. You don't enjoy it, do you, setting places on fire? You don't get off on it? The sparks, flames, smoke, the noise, dogs barking, people screaming, fire engines arriving too late, ashes. None of that does a thing for you, does it? Do-gooder. I don't much like academics, but you know that, Doctor, don't you? I told you that from the start. Academics like you don't get any kind of buzz from it. You people are all so theoretical, always very ideological, always very serious. I don't trust people like you. A doctor of philosophy. Your heart's not in it.
We are prepared!
The hose is carefully rolled.
According to color,
According to rule,
every hose reel.
shining and carefully oiled.
Everyone knows what has to be done.
It's only a pity the wind's coming up.
The wind from the south.
Everyone knows what has to be done.
The brass pumps gleaming.
Have all been carefully checked.
And make sure the pressure is high.
And remember to check on the hydrant.
goose, as ordered by husband. Apparently, I meant to cook it so we can be friends with those two up there. I can't get rid of this stupid feeling that this could be the last time the bells of this town ring out like that.
Babette!
I'm not sure my husband's always right. Honestly, I'm not. I mean, his line is, they may be thugs, but if we make enemies of them, that'll be the end of his hair rejuvenator.
Babette!
It's always the same. I know my Gottlieb. He's just too kind. Too kind for his own good.
Look at the one with the glasses.
Probably from a well-to-do family.
Never known envy.
Probably very well read.
And horribly pale.
Not one to hope the good might come.
From being good-natured. No, this one's ready to do just about anything.
The end justifying the means.
So he hopes. Respectable sometimes.
Cleaning his glasses.
He's very far-sighted.
In drums full of petrol.
He doesn't see petrol.
Instead, he sees an idea.
Till the idea is on fire.
Good evening.
Stand by the hoses. Stand by the pumps. Stand by the ladders.
Good evening.
Ready.
Ready. We are prepared.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your neck, round your neck, sherry, and we provide the best. Soup to jour, hot or dirt. Why, we only live to serve. Try the grace, it's delicious. Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. After all this is France. And a dinner here is never second best. Now on unfold your menu, take a glance, and then you'll be our guest. We our guest, be our guest. Beef ragout, cheese soufflé, pie and pudding on flatbread.
As you can see, I don't have time to deal with the dead. I don't have the time. You heard what I said? Call my lawyer. Go. Anna, I can't hear myself think. Shut that window. A cozy little meal, I said. Why those ridiculous candlesticks?
We always have them, Mr. Biederman.
I said a cozy little meal. None of this pretension. Oh my God, finger bowls and porcelain plates and a salt shaker, for God's sake. Everything's all white and elegant. What kind of impression does that make? Oh, then Anna, I'm wearing my oldest jacket. But just look at you. You can keep the big carving knife. We'll need that. But apart from that, get rid of the smart stuff. Our two guests need to feel comfortable. Where's the corkscrew?
Here,
Don't we have anything simpler?
in the kitchen, but it's rusty.
Get it. What's this doing here?
For the wine?
It's silver.
Yes, we need it, Mr. Biederman.
Need it? In what sense need? What we need is a little human kindness, a sense of community. Get rid of it. And what the hell are those?
Napkins.
Linen napkins.
They're the only ones we have.
You know, there are entire tribes of people who live without napkins. People like us are... I'm just wondering if we really need a tablecloth.
Gottlieb,
Let's make it classless. What's the wreath for?
it's the one we ordered, Gottlieb. And what do you think? They sent it here by mistake. I wrote out the address for the Nestlings myself, clear as day. And the ribbon's all wrong.
The ribbon? Why?
And apparently they've sent the bill to Mrs. Nestling.
Gottlieb Biederman, rest in peace. I'm sorry, this is unacceptable. It's bloody outrageous. They'll just have to change it. Don't get me all upset now, Babette. I can't be everywhere all at once, for God's sake. Right. How much on the tablecloth? Come on, Anna, give me a hand. And like I said, you don't dish out the food, is that clear? You just come in without knocking. You just come in and you simply put the pan down on the table.
The pan. On the table?
A completely different atmosphere, you see? Nothing more but a wooden table. Like at the Last Supper.
You mean you want me to bring the goose to the table in the roasting pan? do you want?
I'll get it myself.
Mr. Biederman,
What is it now?
I don't have a sweater. Or at least not the kind you want me to wear so that I look like one of the family.
Just borrow one from my wife.
The yellow or the red?
Just keep it informal. I don't want to see any caps or aprons. Is that clear? And get rid of those candlesticks. And like, just generally, just make sure the place doesn't look so perfect. I'll be down in the cellar.
Just make sure the place doesn't look so perfect. All right, then.
Good evening.
Why are there no lighters?
They've all been seized by the police. A preemptive measure. Anyone caught selling or possessing lighters without a license will be arrested. Preemptive national security measures.
Well, have you got a light?
No.
Me neither.
You have to ask him.
What, Biederman?
Yes, don't forget.
Ah,
Smells good.
You can think what you want about me, all right? But tell me this. Sorry about those two. But if that's all they get up to, I'll be happy. If someone had told me a week ago that I'd be getting the best bottles out of my cellar for them, now be honest, how long have you known that those two are arsonists? It's not like you think. It doesn't just dawn on you like that. It starts slowly, then suddenly, suspicion. Well, I had my suspicions right from the start. Anyone would, right? But be honest. In my place, what would you have done? Come on, for God's sake, what would you have done? And when? Yeah, I thought so. I gotta go. Kindling? Did you get that one? Kindling. With kindling, you don't really need lighters.
Why is that funny?
Do you know what kindling is?
Yes, you light fires with it.
You have no sense of humor, Babette. What can you do with someone who has no sense of humor, am I right?
Then explain the joke.
All right, then. So this morning, Billy sends Joe to get lighters. Lighters, right? And so I asked Billy, who took the lighters? And Joe says he couldn't find any lighters, only bags of kindling. Understand? And so Billy says, with kindling, you don't really need lighters.
I understood that.
Did you?
Yes, only it isn't funny.
Come on, let's have a drink.
Is it true then? Have you really got bags of kindling up in our attic?
You'll laugh, Babette. This morning, me and Billy even measured out the fuse wire together.
The fuse wire?
Detonating the fuse wire.
Seriously though, please, everyone, what's going on?
Seriously, no! Seriously, no! Did you get that one? Seriously, no! They're winding you up, Babette. They have a slightly offbeat sense of humor. Some jokes travel and some don't. That's what I always say. I expect you'll be asking me for a light next, huh? You see, our two guests here still think I'm an uptight little coward with no sense of humor. The kind of guy who'll believe anything. Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers to our friendship. Please, don't wait to be served. Help yourselves. It's not that kind of house.
I can't eat anymore.
Well, don't hold back, Joe. You're not in the orphanage now. Don't hold back. Well, this goose looks terrific, Babette.
I'm delighted.
Goose with a decent burgundy? All we really need now is a tablecloth.
Motley, did you hear that?
It's not essential. You know, a nice white linen tablecloth with candlesticks.
Anna?
Perhaps a damask linen with a floral pattern. White flowers, of course. Something delicate. Like those frost patterns you see on window panes. But it's not essential, Godly. It's not essential. In prison, we didn't have tablecloths either.
Anna!
In prison? Were you in prison?
Anna, bring over the tablecloth.
Very good.
You don't happen to have a couple of finger bowls, do you?
Of course.
And perhaps a few serviettes? Or does one say napkins?
Of course.
Now, you may find it childish, Babette, but ordinary people are like that, I'm afraid. Now take Joe, father of mine, never seen a salt shaker in his life. Well, of course it's the dream of his poor, twisted life, to sit at a table with nice cutlery and silver glasses.
Well, we can provide that.
That is not essential.
Fine.
Well, I hope you're not taking this the wrong way, Babette. You know, when you're fresh out of prison, deprived of cultivated society for months on end, well, oh, can I see that? Thank you. Now, do you know what this is? Never seen one in his life. This is linen. Damask linen.
So, what am I meant to do with it?
Like this?
And where is our nice salt shaker, Anna?
Mr. Biederman said.
Get it.
No. You said get rid of it.
No, I said get it. That's what I've been saying. Where in God's name is it?
In your left-hand trouser pocket.
Well, calm down now.
Well, it's not my fault.
Calm down.
Ah!
Whoa. Well, it's probably the weather, you know. Maybe from the south.
Come on, drink up.
Now, I used to have goose every day, of course, when I was a waiter. You know, dashing down those long corridors, plate full of goose right there in the palm of my hand. Well, you know. But then afterwards, where do you wipe your fingers? That is the question. Answer? In your hair. And I think some people have silver finger bowls for that. That's what I can't get out of my mind. The silver finger bowls. Do you know what it is to be traumatized?
No.
They explained it all to me. In prison.
How did you end up in prison?
Babette,
How did I end up in prison?
you don't ask people things like that.
Now, I often find myself asking the same question. Like I said, I was a waiter, a little head waiter. And then out of the blue, they mistook this little head waiter for a big-time arsonist. Arrested me in my own home.
Huh.
I was so taken aback, I went along with it.
Huh.
Now, I was lucky by that. They sent 7 extremely charming policemen. When I explained to them that I had to get to the restaurant and had no time to talk, they told me the restaurant had been burnt down.
Burnt down?
Yes, during the night, apparently.
Burnt down?
Fine, I said. In that case, I have got the time. The restaurant was just a pile of smouldering timbers. I saw it as I drove past, you know, from the little barred window in the police van.
And then?
Cave de l'Enfonson. We used to have this in the restaurant, you know. Good year, too. Anyway, there I am, sitting in the police station, fiddling with my handcuffs. And who did they bring in? But him! Cheers, Joe!
Cheers, Billy!
And then?
Are you the arsonist? They asked him and offered him a cigarette. And he said, even though you think I'm an arsonist, I'm afraid I don't have a life.
He says it's urgent.
But I've got guests.
Cheers, Billy.
Oh, cheers, Joe!
Who is it then, Gottlieb?
It's that Doctor of Philosophy.
And what about those other things over there?
The candlesticks?
Well, why are you hiding them away?
Bring them over.
But Mr. Biederman...
I said bring them over.
Oh, Joe, can you imagine? They've got these beautiful candlesticks and they hide them away. Got any matches?
Me?
No.
Oh, well, sad to say, but we don't seem to have any matches.
But I've got a lighter.
Well, let's have it then.
No. Please, allow me. Allow me.
What does he want, this Doctor of Philosophy?
I don't know what he's on about, madam. He's waiting on the stairs. Says he can no longer be silent.
And he wants to speak to my husband in private?
Yes. He says he wishes to expose a scandal.
What kind of a scandal?
I don't understand the word he says, Mrs. Biederman. He could say it 100 times and I still wouldn't understand it. Something about wanting to dissociate himself.
You can't keep candlelight you agree, Babette?
Yes, yes, it's true.
I'm all for atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Schmitz! Table manners!
Leave him alone.
Oh, he has absolutely no manners, Babette. He's like a pig. I'm so sorry. I'm simply appalled. But then, how could he have manners? From coal miner's cottage to children's home to...
No, I know.
From children's home to the circus.
I know.
From the circus to the theatre.
I know. The theater?
Fate, Babette. Fate.
Have you been in the theater? Where?
Backstage.
But very talented. Have you seen him do his ghost?
No, not now.
Why not?
I was only in the theater for a week when it burnt down.
Burnt down!
Come on, don't be shy.
Put it down.
Don't be shy. Come on. You guys are gonna love this. Here we are. Now, like so. Good. Terrific ghost, eh?
It's a bit scary.
Oh, poor baby.
Settle down, everybody.
Theatre language, Babette. You learned that after only a week of rehearsals. Amazing, eh? Of course, that was before the fire.
Can you please stop talking about fire?
Settle down, everybody.
Ready?
Oh, Biederman, Biederman.
Gottlieb.
Shush.
Didn't we see this at Stratford?
Salzburg.
Oh, Salzburg.
Every man, every man.
Terrific performance, eh?
Biederman, Biederman.
Oh, you have to ask him, who are you?
Me?
Otherwise he can't do his big speech.
All right then. Who am I?
No, you've got to ask him who he is.
Oh, I see.
Dost thou not hear?
No, Joe, stop. Take it from the top. Now that's another theatrical expression.
Every man, Biederman.
Let me guess. Are you meant to be deaf?
Don't be stupid.
Well, what else could he be?
You're meant to ask, who are you? He could be Banquo, or Hamlet's father, or that stone statue, what's his name, in Don Giovanni.
Who calls me?
Keep going.
Biederman, Biederman.
Go on. Ask him. He's talking to you.
Dost thou not hear me?
All right then. Who are you?
I am the ghost of Necklace!
Stop! Nestling! You moron! You can't play the ghost of Nestling! Nestling was buried today!
Exactly!
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Biederman. That was not him! How could you be so tasteless?
I couldn't think of who else to be.
Nestling! Not a choice! An old colleague of Mr. Biederman's! A faithful employee! Laid to rest this very day! Corpse still in perfect condition! White as a tablecloth, pale and gleaming like damask, cold and stiff. And you decide to put him on the stage. A word of honor, Mrs. Biederman, was not Nestling.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's just all sit down, please.
Is that it?
How about a cigar?
How stupid can you be? Look at poor Mr. Biederman. He's trembling all over. Thank you, Mr. Biederman. Most kind. Now, I suppose you think this is funny. You know very well that Nestling stuck his head in an oven, forgetting everything Gottlieb had done for him. 14 years Mr. Biederman gave that man work. 14 years. And what thanks does he get for it?
Let's just stop talking about it, please.
Well, that's your thank you.
Shall I sing us a song?
What song?
Let me see. London's burning, London's burning.
That's
Look
enough.
out, look out! Fire, 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 fire! Pour on wee wee,
Don't
pour on
listen,
wee
Mrs.
wee.
Biederman.
London's burning, London's burning. Look out, look out! Fire, 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 fire!
Look out, look out!
Look
Fire,
out!
fire,
fire, fire! Pour on, wee wee, pour on, wee wee. Well done. Cheers. What was that?
Sirens.
But joking apart,
It's the arsonists.
That's what it is. It's the arsonists.
don't shout. At least they're not for us.
Where are they heading?
Where the south wind comes from.
At least they're not for us.
Well, it's our normal procedure. See, we set up a false alarm in some poor district on the outskirts of town. And later, when everything's really hotting up, they find their way back has been blocked.
But joking apart.
But that's how we do it. Joking apart.
All right, enough with this nonsense, please. I mean, there's a limit to these things. Look at my wife. She's as white as a sheet.
As a tablecloth.
You don't look too good yourself.
After all, a siren is a siren. It's not something I find funny. There's a fire out there. There's a fire. Otherwise, the fire brigade wouldn't be out.
Well, time to go.
What? Already?
I'm afraid so.
London's burning, London's burning.
Let's have coffee, Beth. And you, Anna? Don't just stand here with your mouth open. No. Just between us and not between them, all right? Please, there's a limit. My wife has a heart condition. I'd like you to stop joking about people setting fire to things.
Oh, but we're not joking.
We're arsonists.
Why don't you believe us?
Your house is in a perfect position, Mr. Biederman. Don't you realize that? Now your house will be one of 5 fires, all in a circle around the petrol station. See, we can't attack the petrol station directly, because it's guarded now. But with fires all around and the south wind blowing, well...
I don't believe it.
Godly, if you really think we're arsonists, why not say so?
I don't think you're arsonists. I really don't. I mean, you do me an injustice. I don't think you're arsonists.
You swear?
I swear. I swear you're not arsonists.
Who do you think we are then?
You're my friends. Where are you going now?
Well, it's time.
I swear, as God is my witness,
God.
yes.
Billy doesn't believe in God, and neither do you, so you can swear as long as you like.
What can I do to make you believe me?
Give us your lighter.
What? I meant to.
We don't have a lighter.
I meant to.
You don't think we're arsonists?
My lighter?
The sign of trust.
Oh, he's not sure. Can you see? He's not sure.
All right, please, enough. Not in front of my wife.
Coffee will be ready in a moment. You're leaving?
Well, it's a great pity, my friends, but I don't want to make any big speeches. Well, the main thing is, how about we use first names? And drink a toast to our friendship.
Now tell your husband not to open another bottle for us. It's really not worth it now.
Oh, no, nothing's too much trouble at all for you, my friends. Nothing, it's too much trouble at all. A toast to our friendship. Joe.
Gottlieb.
Billy.
Gottlieb. Time to go.
Must be off.
Now, Babette.
It's been a delightful evening.
One more thing, Gottlieb.
What?
The lighter.
If there's anything you'd like me to do. Anything.
Anna, what's wrong? Coffee. You're all upset. If you look out the back, the sky, from the kitchen window you can see it. The whole sky is lit up.
At least it's not our house. What are you doing?
I can no longer remain silent. I, the undersigned, being deeply distressed by recent events which in my view can only be regarded as criminal, wish to make the following statement. As academics gaze from our ivory foot below below, we find ourselves being responsible for seeing the world not as it is, but as it would be to an ordinary citizen here in England, and where we call mental difficulties. Therefore, I completely dissociate myself from it all.
And?
I have said what I have to say. You see, Mr. Biederman, I was a do-gooder, earnest and honest. I knew exactly what they were doing up in your house, every detail of it. There is one thing I didn't know. They do it because they like doing it.
Doctor. Listen, you. Doctor.
Gottlieb?
What am I meant to do with this? They're gone.
What did you give them? I saw you! Was it your lighter? Was it?
Well, why not?
You gave them your lighter!
Yes! If they've got no lighter of their own, how can they possibly be arsonists? Babette. My darling Babette.
There is much that is senseless.
And nothing more senseless.
Than the story just told.
A story once started.
That killed many people.
But didn't kill everyone.
And failed to change anything.
First storage tank. Second storage tank.
If you spend long enough looking into the future,
Then what you foresee will finally happen.
Stupidity, dressed up as fate.
Always stupidity.
Blazing and burning.
Until it cannot be put out.
Another storage tank.
Woe unto us!